Hello, Haley. It's so nice to have you here. Thank you for joining me this evening. And I'm really excited to speak to you as someone who's already completed the awakening and is in a full-time employment. And I really want to hear your story because I know you've got something that you want to share with people, and it's really quite a compelling story. So, maybe you can just give us a little bit of a background as to why you wanted to do the awakening and eventually you did the coaches training, and maybe a little bit about what you got out of it. So over to you.
Thanks, Sharon. Yeah, I was thinking back to when I contacted you, and it was just, I think the world was slowly starting to come right after COVID, but we were all still recovering from, getting used to our new normal. And I saw one of your adverts out, and obviously I'd known you for years, and I'd been watching your work and reading some of your newsletters. But in that moment that I read, you were talking about the awakening. I can't even remember what it was, but it just struck me that this is something that I absolutely have to do and want to do. And I wanted to do it like then and there. So I remember writing to you and saying, Sharon, I know you know my story, and it was a few years after Rog died. So I lost my husband suddenly in a diving accident. And so I'd been scrambling around for a few years. It had already been almost 3 years, rebuilding in my own way and just, doing well in some areas and struggling in other areas. But I knew that I needed help and direction. And so when I saw the awakening, I wrote to you straight away and I said, I really want to do this course and I don't know quite how to do it. And I'm still waiting for some things to work out in my life, but can I sign up? And you said, absolutely, I'll see you there. And it was the start of a beautiful time for me.
Wow. It's passed so quickly. Was that 2022 or
2022.
2022? So that's already 2 years ago. Time is
Yeah,
really flown. So
yeah.
I'd love for you to maybe just give a little bit of your story. You spoke about Roger and the diving accident, and it's so
Yeah.
good for people to know, what the background to that is and how far you've come. And, maybe you could just say what it is that you learned that really, really helped you. And obviously I know, but I would love for you to share a little bit with the people that are going to watch this as to
Mm.
what it is that you really uncovered for yourself through that journey.
Yes. So it was 2019, and Rog was in this place where he'd just worked himself into a standstill, really. And so he was on sabbatical. He was actually taking some time out doing absolute dream holidays, and surfing. And he had this accident where he had a shallow water blackout. And so he was overseas, and it was this whole traumatic, unreal experience of having to deal with this sudden loss. And obviously it was traumatic for me, but it was massively traumatic for the boys. And then finding our way and building our lives from that point was chaotic. And so you obviously lean on all of your support, and I had a lot of beautiful support, and I was surrounded by a lot of love. And I went into work mode, and I just went into fix it mode, and I went into make it okay for everyone else mode. And I think by the time I came across your work, I was like completely burnt out, really. I'd been interested in self-awareness and self-growth for many, many years. Roger and I had actually done some courses together, and it had always been my go-to for hope, like look within yourself and use what you have and what you've learned in life to guide you. And so the awakening, doing the awakening for me was, I mean, I think the word awakening is so precious and real, because that's what it did. It woke me to that there is something bigger than all of the things that I've learned, strategies that I have come up with to survive. And because those only get you so far. And so my mind was so tight with everything that I'd learned and all the ways that I'd learned to survive, that what you taught was an unlearning of all of my survival strategies that were not really helping me as much as I thought.
Wow.
And it was a huge unlearning process for me.
Wow. It's almost impossible to wrap one's head around what you went through. For anyone, it's like a massive, massive thing for anyone. And, with two young sons as well. And I kind of remember the time, and I do remember when you came to me and you asked me about the awakening. And for me, it was absolutely imperative that I got you on the program, to be honest, because I knew there was something there that, should you feel it, you would uncover something that was really going to help you, because you're such a resilient person. I mean, we've known each other for years. And so I'd love for you just to speak about how that was different for you. So, you went through all of these other programs and you had all these techniques and tools and, this sort of arsenal of things that you could rely on. And now you discovered something new. Do you want to speak to that a little bit? Because that would be so interesting to know.
I think what I found that you were so good at was you were so good at like disrupting thought processes. So every time I got into a mode of I'm here to learn something new, I'm going to write this down, and tomorrow I'll be different. Like, you disrupted our thoughts, and you showed us to like follow a feeling, and that was very, very different for me. So I got, for the first time in a long time, out of my head and into an understanding of mind and flow. And that for me was, I didn't understand why you called it transformational, but it was transformational. So, and you, every time we went to that place where there's like, we got all tight up in our heads, you disrupted us, and there was this quiet. I couldn't even in the first day or two grasp what was happening, but I could feel it. And I knew it was very, very different. And
Wow.
so I just trusted that, and it felt like hour by hour, a lightness came over me, and an understanding that it didn't matter what notes I wrote down in the next few days, or that I was transforming, and that I was something was happening that was much bigger than me, and that all I had to do was trust in the process, and that I had everything I already needed. Didn't matter if I didn't learn another thing, I had everything I needed in that moment. So, yeah.
The way that you're speaking, it just smacks of simplicity, just like those two little points that you made there, like hour by hour, you had everything you needed. Didn't matter how many notes you took, you were going to be okay. And where you are now, you've got this full-time employment with an educational organization, and I'm wondering how that has been different for you in terms of being in a job or in a career, and now knowing what you know through the awakening. How is that different? Could you speak to that a bit?
I think I've got more peace in every area of my life. So on a business front, in my daily work, things can be chaotic in a school. And so you can go from meetings with the executive committee to meetings with boys, and you carry that peace with you. And so I've had feedback from people who've gone like, what is it like? How do you keep it like together? And so there's definitely, I've brought that with me, and it's this, it's just the complete peace of knowing that I can trust that life is happening for me, not to me, and that everybody has access to wisdom. And so in every single moment, there is something for me to learn from everyone. So if I can just quieten my mind, get out of here, stop thinking, quieten my mind, and allow wisdom to speak through me, then it doesn't matter if I haven't prepared for the meeting will go well. And it doesn't matter if it's trusting that process. So it affects every single day and every part of my job.
Wow. If anyone that's listening to that, when you say it doesn't matter what's going on the outside, I'm okay and I'm at peace. I'm sure understand that is so different to what the world experiences today,
Mm,
because it does appear that the world is in chaos, and obviously we're all going to be impacted. I'd love to
mm.
hear a little bit more about at home, because in our career we're out of our sort of our home environment. How's it made a difference for you at home?
I think it's just made me more loving and more accepting of everything. So at home, even though life is challenging and it's busy, our home is so peaceful. We have such a beautiful, happy home environment, and yet it's hard to be a single mom with two boys. But I feel every day when I think of a story or tell someone a story, it actually does amaze me that like it's much easier than what people think, because things are good in our home, because I am love's happening for them. And so they're being taught. I'm not responsible for teaching them and showing them everything. I'm responsible for loving them and for guiding them and for living my life according to what I've now learned, and that teaches them. And so our home is a beautiful, happy place, and my boys have wisdom that they teach me every day, and it flows through them. And so we're very blessed with how we live.
I think
Yeah.
for anyone that's got teenagers at home and hears you say we've got a really peaceful place at home, although life is challenging, that they're probably thinking, how on earth is that
Mm,
possible? But I think you spoke to it so well. As they've got their journey, and so
mhm,
they've got their wisdom, and also again so different to the way the world perceives life to be. And
mm.
so I'd love for you just to finish. I mean, you've shared so much with us today. And, what do you feel has really made the difference? Like, what are the big insights that you would love to share with anyone that's watching this? You're in a career, you work full time, you're a single mom, you've got two teenagers at home, you've got a busy life, everything's going on. What would you love someone to know? The biggest insights that you took away from the awakening?
Mm, I'd love them to know, most of all, that this is something that everyone should do. I would love to see every teenager go and do a course like this and be taught these principles that will unlock life for them. It's not something that you do if you want to become a life coach, or if you have been through a trauma, or I just wish that every single one of my friends and family would, and everyone that I speak to, would embrace this as a part of life, and know that there are many of us who would absolutely love to guide them through learning what we have learned, and sharing the blessings of that. I think it feels like there's too many to point out one, but just the fact that, and the trusting the process that life is happening for us and not to us, and what that actually means is huge, because it feels easy to say when life is good, but if you can believe it fully when life is bad, and when you've been through tough things, knowing what it teaches you and shows you and where it leads you, then it's a very, very beautiful thing that everybody should what should want to believe.
Well, that's incredible, because I'm hearing you say that you took time, you invested in yourself. It was something that you knew that you needed, and now it's playing out in all these areas of your life. So, I mean, I don't feel like it gets better than that. How on all
Mm,
those areas, in all those areas, you can feel the difference for yourself. And so you're almost like a role model for your children as well. I'm sure that's something that they have
mm,
experienced from you as well, because if you're okay,
mm.
then they are okay.
Yes.
So, yeah, thank you, Haley. I think
Yeah.
that was really, really very special, short and succinct and to the point. And anyone that's watching this will get a lot and will gain a lot from what you shared today. So, I just want to say thank you again. It's really
Pleasure.
such an awesome journey.
Yeah.
Just watching you unfold and blossom into who you've become. So, yeah, I just
Thank you,
wish you
Sharon.
luck. And as a coach too, as a transformational life coach, you're making a difference. So thank you for that as
Thank you.
well.
Thank
All right.
you.
Thank
Pleasure.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.